Good afternoon, dear students. How are you all? If you're fine, please show me your thumbs. Many of you do not seem to be fine as it is evening time and uh, getting tired. Okay. Have you all attended the last sessions? I hope that you know me. I'm your English teacher. Have you all attended last day's classes? Last English classes, I have already presented 2 classes. Have you attended both? Yes, good. We'll be continuing that. Okay, we have been learning Unit 2, Wit and Humor, air reading The Dear Departed 1. The aim of learning this unit is to understand how to appreciate wit and humor in our, appreciate humorous stories, how to identify the main content of a humorous story in our daily life. Today, we are going to have a recapitulation of what we have learned last class and continuation of the session followed by a questionnaire. Okay. So let's recapitulate what we have learned in the last class. We have learned it's a play, it's a one-act play with minimal characters. The characters are Amelia or Mrs. Slater, Henry Slater, the husband of Mrs. Slater, Elizabeth Jordan, the sister of Mrs. Slater, Ben Jordan, the husband of Elizabeth Jordan, and Victoria, a little girl, daughter of Mrs. Slater and Henry Slater. What has happened? Mrs. Slater found that Grandpa is dead. He's lying dead upstairs. She asked her daughter Victoria to go and dress according to her instruction, that is wearing black dress as it is the convention in Western countries. Later what happens? Mrs. Slater, who is a very vigorous, red-faced woman prepared to do any amount of talking, motivates her husband to steal the things of Grandpa. What's the first thing that she asked her husband to steal? It was slippers of father. Okay. Later on, we have learned that she has her eyes on the bureau, the brand new bureau that was in the father's room. Somehow she manages to motivate husband, and they have made all the arrangements and they started shifting. Henry had a doubt. What if Elizabeth and Ben come while they are shifting the bureau? Even the little girl Victoria was very suspicious about what her parents are doing. What her parents are doing. Okay. She was very suspicious. So while they were shifting the bureau, what has happened? They heard a noise at the door. Later they found Victoria ushers. Ushers means what? Brings in or welcomes. Victoria welcomes Ben Jordan and Elizabeth Jordan. They enter the room. We have also learned about what kind of a woman is Mr. Ben and also Mrs. Jordan or Mrs. Elizabeth, we have learned about them. What kind of character? Almost the characters are same. Both women have the same character. Eager to take away others' things. Eager to take away others' things, especially of their father. After the formal introduction of the couple, what has happened? Let us see. Please listen from here. We have last day we have stopped here. Mrs. Jordan. Well, Amelia, and so he has gone at last. Mrs. Slater. Yes, he has gone. He was 72 a fortnight last Sunday. She sniffs back a tear. Ben cheerfully. Now, Amelia, you mustn't give away. We have all got to die sometime or the other. Mrs. Jordan, as soon as she enters, what does she say? Well, Amelia, he has gone at last. What is it meant? Who has gone dead? Father. Okay, Mrs. Jordan's and Mrs. Slater's father. Finally, he has gone. Mrs. Slater replies, yes, he has gone. He was 72 a fortnight last Sunday. Do you know what is the meaning of fortnight? Fortnight means 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Fortnight. So he was 72 years old and a fortnight. 72 year and a fortnight. 2 weeks more. Last Sunday. She sniffs back a tear. Sniffs. What is meant by sniff? Sniff. Sniffer dogs. You might have heard about sniffer dogs. In police department, they have sniffer dogs. What does the sniffer dog do? It sniffs the scent and identify who the culprit is. Sniff means smell. So in this context, sniff back tear means when you cry, what happens? Even you get a running nose. Yes, when you get a running nose, what do you usually do? We sniff back. Okay, even when we cry, we sniff back. Even if we act like crying, we sniff back. So she was sniffing back a tear. She was just pretending to be sad. She was not sad in reality. She was pretending to be sad. Now, Ben, I have already told you, Ben is a very jolly man. He doesn't bother to play a DJ music even in a dead man's house. Such a jolly man he is. So he is chirply. Chirply means very smartly. Now, Amelia, you mustn't give away. You don't be sad, Amelia. One or other day we have all got to go. We should die one or other day. If not now, we should all die. We should all go up one or other day. That is how Ben, who is a very jolly man, consoles Amelia. Consoling, comforting or pacifying Amelia. Okay. Let's see the next part. Let me read it for you. Mrs. Jordan. And now perhaps you'll tell us all about it. Mrs. Slater, father had been married this morning. He went out soon after breakfast to pay his insurance. Ben, my word, it's a good thing he did. Mrs. Jordan, he always was thoughtful in that way. He was too honorable to have gone without paying his premium. Henry, and when I came in, I found him undressed, sure enough, and snug in bed. Mrs. Slater, and when we had finished dinner, I thought I would take up a bit of something on a tray. He was lying there for all the world as if he was asleep. So I put the tray down on the bureau, correcting herself on the chest of drawers, and went to wake him. A pause. He was quite cold. A pause. They wiped their eyes and sniffs back tears. Mrs. Slater, rising briskly at length in a businesslike tone. Well, will you go up and look at him now, or shall we have tea? So what has happened? Mrs. Jordan, sister of Mrs. Slater, asked Mrs. Slater to explain how the incident has happened. How did father die? So Mrs. Slater started her explanation of how father has died. She says that father was merry this morning. Merry means very happy. Merry. Merry means very happy. So if you are unsure of any words, you can just note down in your running note, because you have a lot to do with words. Okay. Father has been merry this morning. He was very happy. Soon after breakfast, he went to pay his insurance. Ben was very happy. My word, it's a good thing he did. What is this expression, my word? When we are surprised or overjoyed, we use this. My word, it's a good thing he did. If he didn't pay insurance premium, children would have suffered, isn't it? This is what usually happens in every family. As soon as the head of the family dies, they inquire whether head of the family has paid insurance premium or not. If insurance premium is overdue, what will happen? We don't get any insurance amount. I think many of you have life insurance policy. Why do we take life insurance policies? Why do we take life insurance policies? Do we enjoy the benefit of life insurance policies? Never. If something happens to us, the people who are after us, maybe our children, our brothers or family members, they will be benefited. So when Mrs. Slater told that father has gone out to pay the insurance premium, Ben, who is a very jolly man, told, my word, that's a good thing he did. Ben's wife also says, yes, he is a very thoughtful person. He never keeps anything pending. He was too honorable to have gone without paying his premium. What does it mean? If he has not paid his premium, he would have been a very, what do you mean? Very waste person. That's what they wanted to say. It's a good thing he has paid his premium. Otherwise, we would all curse him. Every second of our life, we would remember him. He didn't pay the premium. We don't like him. They may always say within themselves. So it's a good thing that he has paid the premium. Henry. Now, Henry is continuing the description. When Henry came, he found father undressed. Undressed doesn't mean that he was totally undressed. He undressed himself from the regular formal dress and wore casual wear, which we usually wear at home. And he was snug in bed. Snug in bed means what? Made himself comfortable in bed. Made himself comfortable in bed. Maybe under a blanket. I think it has been raining since last 2 days in many of your locality. And morning, what do you do when your mother comes to call you? You will be snug in bed. How? Covering a blanket over you, sleeping up to 9 or 10 o'clock. Am I right? No. Okay. You are all good children. You get up early at least. Okay. So many of you snug in bed in winter season. Some parents has to sprinkle water over them to wake and drag the students to school. They say, I have stomach pain. If it is stomach pain one day, the other day headache, and the other day cold, and it goes on, especially when the strict teacher who has given you homework is going to ask you a question or going to conduct a slip test, you will surely have stomach pain or you will have headache. Okay, we pretend to be so. Your father was snug in bed. Snug in bed means made himself comfortable in bed. Mrs. Slater is continuing the rest of the explanation. After finishing the dinner, Mrs. Slater thought that she would take something for father on a tray. So when she went up, he was lying there asleep, as if the whole world is asleep usually. Especially morning hours, 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, the whole world will be asleep. We usually say this just a phrase to make sure that everyone is asleep. He was asleep as if everyone was asleep. Now, Mrs. Slater says, I put the tray on the bureau. She made a mistake now. What mistake did she make? She mentioned the word bureau. Is the bureau there now? No, she has already shifted it to her own room. Now, when she explained to Mrs. Jordan that she has carried food and placed it on the bureau, she is going to understand that bureau was there before they have shifted it. Immediately, she realized the mistake that she has uttered. What is a wrong word she uttered? She mentioned the word bureau. Immediately she corrected herself. No, no, not on bureau, on the chest of drawers. They have already shifted it. Chest of drawers, the old shabby chest of drawers is in the father's room, and the beautiful bureau in their own room. And we went to wake him. He was quite cold. He was quite cold. If a person is dead after some hours, body will be very cold. There will be no warmth. It will be very cold. So what did they do? They confirmed that father is dead. They confirmed blindly that father is dead. Now everyone stopped for some time. They started sniffing back tears with the tears on the eyes. Mrs. Slater, slowly rising briskly. Briskly means quickly. Quickly in an awkward manner. Mrs. Slater got up quickly. And what did she do? In a business-like tone, she has asked, what do you mean by business-like tone? In a straightforward manner. In a straightforward manner, she was asking, well, by the way, will you first go and have a look at father, or will you have coffee first? Will you have tea first? Will you have tea first, or will you have a look at father? Do we usually do these sort of things when something happens, something of this sort happens in our house? Never. We will not be in a mood to have tea. We will not be in a mood to have anything. We'll be crying all day. Then how could say, how could she ask, will you have tea first or have a glance at father who is lying dead? This dialogue itself shows that there is emptiness in the relationship in middle class family of British middle class family in those days. Okay, let's see what has happened after that. Mrs. Jordan looked at Ben. What do you say, Ben? Ben, I'm not particular. Mrs. Jordan surveying the table. Well, then if the kettle is ready, we may as well have tea first. Mrs. Slater puts the kettle on the fire and gets tea ready. Henry, one thing we may as well decide now is the announcement in the papers. Mrs. Jordan, I was thinking of that. What would you put? A pause. Mrs. Jordan, well, we'll think about it after tea, and then we'll have look through his bits of things and make a list of them. There's all the furniture in his room. Henry, there's no jewelry or valuable of that sort. Mrs. Jordan, except his gold watch. He promised that to our Jimmy. Now what happened? Mrs. Slater asked everyone, shall we have tea first or have a glance at father's dead body? Mrs. Jordan just looked at Ben, her husband, and asked, what do you say, Ben? Ben said, I'm not particular about anything. Anything is possible. Then Mrs. Jordan surveying the table. What do you mean by surveying the table? Having a keen observation on the table. Nowadays, people come to survey, to conduct some surveys in our locality, isn't it? Survey means to have a keen examination or observation. So Mrs. Jordan observed the table and told, if kettle is ready, we will have tea first. What do you mean by kettle? Teapot. Mrs. Slater puts the kettle on the fire and gets tea ready. Henry. What did Henry tell? Now we should decide about one thing. What about the announcement in the newspapers? When someone dies, we announce it in the newspaper with a photo. After 1 year, we put another ad. What? First anniversary. What is it known as? Obituary. That process is known as obituary. Okay. So Mrs. Jordan says, I was also thinking about announcement in the newspaper. What would you put? What matter would you put? Mrs. Jordan said, let's forget about it. First, let us have tea. Let's discuss about it after tea. And we also have got a big task in front of us. What is the task? We should look through his bits of things. That is nothing but we should check the property, list of property. There is a lot of furniture in his room. Henry says, nothing of that sort. There is no jewelry or valuable things. Mrs. Jordan knows there are good things, valuable things. Who has stolen already? Mrs. Henry, Mrs. Slater has already stolen. Bureau, watch, slippers, isn't it? Bureau, clock and slippers, they have already stolen. That's why Henry says there is nothing valuable. Mrs. Jordan told, yes, there is one thing, his gold watch. His gold watch. Okay? He promised that watch to our Jimmy. Now, can you guess who is Jimmy? Who is Jimmy? Yes. Son of Amelia and? No, not Amelia. Son of Mrs. Jordan and Ben Jordan. Okay? So, Mrs. Jordan says, I know that there is nothing, but there is something valuable. What is that? His gold watch. Once upon a time, he has promised that watch to our Jimmy, our son. He told that he would give the watch to our son. Okay. Mrs. Slater, promise you, Jimmy? I never heard of that. Mrs. Jordan, oh, but he did, Amelia. When he was living with us, he was very fond of Jimmy. Mrs. Slater, well, I don't know. Ben, anything. There is his insurance. Anyhow, there is his insurance money. Have you got the receipt of the premium he paid this morning? Mrs. Slater, I have not seen it. Victoria jumps up from the sofa and comes behind the table. Victoria, mother, I don't think Grandpa went to pay his insurance this morning. Mrs. Slater, he went out, I have seen. Victoria, yes, but he did not go into the town. He met old Mr. Tattersall down the street and they went off past St. Philip's Church. Ben, do you think he hasn't paid it? Was it overdue? Mrs. Slater, I should think it was overdue. Mrs. Jordan, something tells me he has not paid it. Ben, the drunken old beggar. Now what happened? Mrs. Slater, both sisters are jealous of each other. When Elizabeth says that father's gold watch, he has promised his gold watch to Jimmy, Mrs. Slater says, promised you, Jimmy? I never heard of that. I don't agree with it. Mrs. Jordan says, oh, but he did, my dear Amelia. He has promised. When he was living with us, he was very fond of Jimmy. Just observe in your house. How many of your grandparents are living with you? Please raise your hands. How many of your grandparents are living with you? Please raise your hands. Yes. As you're raising hand, your pictures are moving. Okay, fine. Many of your grandparents are living with you. Isn't it? What for you have made your grandparent live with you? Vaishnavi White, is your grandparents living with you? Please unmute Vaishnavi. Are they with you in your house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, very good. Do you take good care of them?
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. So you're all good children that you take good care of your grandparents. What happens to this family? Grandfather, their father, Victoria's grandfather, whereas Mrs. Slater's father, they were living in Mrs. Jordan's house sometime. And what were they doing? They were not taking good care. They were always trying to push him out of the house and sending to whose house? Mrs. Slater's house. You go to Mrs. Slater's house, they used to say, she cooks good. I don't cook well. I don't take care much. See, you have a lot of furniture in Mrs. Slater's house. You can go there. In this manner, Mrs. Jordan was always trying to push father out of house, sending him to whose house? Mrs. Slater's house. Now, when father comes, what does Mrs. Slater do? Father, it's good thing that you have come. Next week, we are going on a picnic. So 1 week you stay here. At the end of this week, please return to Mrs. Jordan's house. In this manner, both of them were playing football. With whose life? Father's life. Okay. So Mrs. Slater, I don't know about that. I don't know whether he has promised the gold watch to your son or not. When told, anyway, forget about that. We have his insurance money. We have his insurance amount. Usually insurance amount will be lakhs. Have you got the receipt of the premium he paid this morning? Have you got the receipt? Mrs. Slater, I have not seen it. Victoria jumps from behind the sofa and comes behind the table. Jumps from the sofa and comes behind the table and says, Mother, I don't think Grandpa paid insurance this morning. Mrs. Slater said, who told you he didn't pay? I have seen him going out. Victoria, but he did not go into the town. He went to meet his old friend. He has a friend. Old friend. What is his name? His friend is Mr. Tattersall. His friend is Mr. Tattersall. Okay. He met his old friend, Mr. Tattersall, and went down the street. They went past of St. Philip's Church. There is a particular church named St. Philip's Church. ST, you can find here ST. Don't read it as ST Philip's Church. Please read it as St. Philip's Church. ST is a short form of what? Saint. Saint means a holy person. Okay, please remember that if at all there is a question, what does the abbreviation ST stand for? You don't write that Philip was an ST or SC by category. Don't think like that. ST means saint. Saint Philip's Church. Then, so you say that the insurance premium was overdue. Overdue means everyone knows. Due. Many of you might have had school fee dues, isn't it? In your lifetime. Teachers may be asking you always that you haven't paid your due. Your fee is overdue, they say. Your fee is overdue. Please make the payment at the earliest. They go and send you circular messages and all. So overdue means, I know this is the term that every student knows very well. Okay, overdue. Insurance premium was overdue. Mrs. Slater says, yes, I think that it's overdue. Mrs. Jordan says, I think something strikes in my mind that he did not pay it. Now Ben started scolding father-in-law, the drunken old beggar. The drunken old beggar. Just to understand the change of character. When somebody told that he has paid the insurance premium, Ben was appreciating father-in-law. Yes, it's a good thing he did. He's always thoughtful. I know he's a very good person. But when he realized that father has not paid the due insurance premium, what did he say? The drunken old beggar. Here you can understand dramatic change in the character of Ben Jordan. Not only Ben Jordan, every character, almost every character except Victoria or one or two characters who are present in the play, everyone has what kind of character? Changing character. They are all hypocrites. You know what is meant by hypocrite? Who is hypocrite? Hypocrisy, we say hypocrisy. What is meant by hypocrisy? Hypocrisy. We act good outside, but in our inner self, we'll be very bad. Let me tell you an example. For example, Vamshi Krishna. Vamshi Krishna is traveling in train. Vamshi Krishna is traveling in train. There are many people sitting in the same compartment. Many family, boys, girls, many are sitting there. A beggar comes there. What does Vamshi Krishna do? Takes 100 rupee note. Just show it like this. Drop in his plate. Just imagine the situation in another manner. Nobody in the compartment. Only Vamshi Krishna is sitting. What happens? A beggar comes. He doesn't even give a penny. He shoo him away. Not only he, I'm just telling example, Vamshi Krishna, it's not to hurt you or characterize you with that. Not only you, everyone, maximum of us seek appreciation for the task we do. Otherwise, we don't do. There are still good people who give alms or who give something to beggars out of their heart. So that is known as hypocrisy. That character is known as hypocrisy. A person who has that character is known as hypocrite. Okay? So Ben, Mrs. Slater, Mrs. Jordan, everyone are hypocrites, we can say. Just before Ben was appreciating father, now father-in-law, now he has changed his plate. He has started scolding him. Not only Ben, let us see who all have joined him. Mrs. Jordan. He has done it on purpose just to annoy us. Mrs. Slater, after all I have done for him, having to put up with him in the house these 3 years is nothing short of swindling. Mrs. Jordan, I had to put up with him for 5 years. Mrs. Slater, and you are trying to turn him over to us all the time. Henry, but we don't know for certain that he has not paid the premium. Mrs. Slater, Victoria, run upstairs and fetch the bunch of keys that's on your grandpa's dressing table. Victoria timidly, in grandpa's room? Mrs. Slater, yes. Victoria, I don't like to. Mrs. Slater, don't talk so silly. There is no one who can hurt you. Victoria goes reluctantly. We'll see if he has locked the receipt up in the bureau. Observe wherever Mrs. Slater is slipping her tongue. She is not supposed to tell anything about bureau. The bureau is in her own room now. Okay. Mrs. Jordan also joined Ben. He has done it on purpose. Sometimes when you fall down, stumbling over others, like what you say, Sharanya has done it on purpose. I will tell my mom. Sharanya might not have known it at least. She might have been sitting on her chair. Spurti may be walking on the way. By mistake, Spurti stumbled over Sharanya's leg and fallen. But what Spurti says, I know she has done it on purpose. Even last week, she was talking ill of me. I will show her. So this is what Mrs. Jordan says. He has done it on purpose. He wantedly did not pay the insurance premium. He doesn't want his daughters to enjoy the money. Just to annoy us. Annoy means make angry. Make angry. I know. I hope that you know this word, annoy. Please learn all the new words. When you speak, your language becomes richer. You can tell when somebody is making you angry, you can say, don't annoy me. I am very dangerous. You can say, don't annoy me. Okay? Mrs. Slater, after all I have done for him, I have done so many favors to my father. How can he do like this? Why didn't he pay the insurance premium? I have put up with him. Put up with him. Put up means what? Accommodate. Accommodate. Many of you have put up your grandparents in your house, isn't it? Accommodated your grandparents in your house. I have accommodated him. I have taken care of him 3 years. It is nothing short of swindling. Swindling means cheating. He's trying to cheat us. I took care of him 3 years. Now Mrs. Jordan says, is it you who have taken care of him? I have taken care of him for 5 years. I have taken care of him for 5 years. Mrs. Slater says, yes, you have taken care of him 5 years, but every week or every month you are trying to turn him to us. You are trying to push him out and send it. You are always motivating him to go to my house. I know that. It's not out of affection that you have taken care of him. Okay. Henry says, stop all these quarrels. Why worrying unnecessarily? Are you sure that he has paid his insurance premium? We don't know. It's not sure. We have to confirm it first. Mrs. Slater says, Victoria, my dear girl, please go up. Please go upstairs into grandpa's room. Get the bunch of keys. Bunch of keys that's on your grandpa's dressing table. Victoria timidly means in a shy manner or little bit afraid. In grandpa's room? Do you want me to go to grandpa's room? Mrs. Slater, yes. No, 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 I don't wish to go there. Mrs. Slater says, don't worry, my dear, don't talk silly. There is nobody who can hurt you. If someone asks you to go to a cemetery, you know cemetery, where dead bodies are buried at midnight, 12 o'clock, will you dare? Will you be dare enough to go there? No, not even cemetery. Even if a person is lying dead in a room, you went to attend a funeral, and after 2 days, you will not be sleeping alone. You will call your mother or father beside you. I am afraid ghosts will haunt me, you may say. Even if a small branch of tree moves, you run into the house if you are outside. Yes, Victoria also felt same. Even though he is her grandfather, she is little bit afraid. Mother is motivating, don't talk so silly. There is nobody to hurt you. Go. Victoria goes reluctantly. Reluctantly means unwillingly. Reluctantly, unwillingly. Please note down the important words. You can use it in your daily language. We will see if father has locked the receipt in the bureau. What happened to Mrs. Slater now? She talked about the bureau again. Why should father lock the thing in the bureau? Okay, let us see what has happened to them. So this is the scene. It's already there in your textbook. We have the clock here. You can see the clock. This is the fireplace. I have told you fireplace. This is the bureau. This is someone coming down. Let us see who is that. In where? In this thing, he rises and examines it. Mrs. Jordan also rising. Where did you pick that up, Amelia? It's new since last I was here. They examined it closely. Mrs. Slater, oh, Henry picked it up one day. Victoria returns very scared. She closes the door after her. Victoria, mother. Mrs. Slater, what is it, child? Victoria, grandpa is getting up. Then what? Mrs. Slater, what do you say? Victoria, grandpa is getting up. Mrs. Jordan, the child is crazy. Now, by mistake, Mrs. Slater uttered the word bureau. Let us see whether he has locked the receipt in the bureau. When, in where? In this thing, he gets up and shows the bureau and asks, in this bureau, has he locked up the receipt? Mrs. Jordan also got up slowly. Oh, Amelia, where did you pick that up? Where did you buy that? Where did you get that bureau? It's new. Since last I was here, it's new. They went close to the bureau and examined it. Mrs. Slater, oh, that is nothing. Henry picked it up one day. Henry purchased it the other day. Now Victoria comes back very much scared, afraid. She closes the door after her, door of the grandpa's room. Mother, grandpa is getting up. What? Everyone was shocked. Grandpa is getting up, mother. The child is crazy. How can a dead person get up? Let us see. Mrs. Slater, don't talk so silly. Don't you know your grandpa is dead? Victoria, no, he is getting up. I saw him. They are transfixed from upstairs. The door opens, revealing an old man clad in a faded but gay dressing gown. He is in his stockinged feet. Although over 70, he is vigorous and well-colored. His bright, malicious eyes twinkle under his heavy reddish-gray eyebrows. He is obviously either the old man Abel Merriweather or else his ghost. Mrs. Slater repeatedly says, don't talk so silly, girl. Grandpa is dead, you know. Victoria, no, mother, I have seen him. They are transfixed with amazement. Means what? What do you mean by transfixed? Transfixed means become motionless. without movement. Amazement means surprise. Okay, they are without movement. Victoria goes to mother and clings to her, means holds her leg and stands out of fear. Ben, what is the word hist used for? Hist is used to grab attention. Grab attention. Grab attention. This is a word used to grab attention. When you hear some light noise, what you say? Shh, listen. Okay. All of them looked at the door. A slight chuckling is heard from the upstairs. Chuckling means laughing. Door opens. Who is in front of the door? An old man, clad. Clad means dressed. Dressed in a faded dressing gown. A long dress, night dress. Okay. He is in his stockinged feet. Stockinged feet means wearing socks. Wearing socks. He is over 70. He is also a very vigorous person. Well colored. Well colored means what? What do you mean by very fair? His eyes, his bright eyes, malicious eyes. What do you mean by malicious? Desiring to harm others. Desiring to harm others. That is known as malicious. She is a malicious woman, we say. His eyes are not so good to look at now. Okay. It is twinkling under his eyebrows. Reddish gray eyebrows. He is obviously means what? Clearly. He may be either the old man, Abel Merriweather, or his ghost. We don't know who is he. Whether he is ghost or he is real Abel Merriweather. That is the end of A reading. Okay. That is the end of A reading. I hope that you have understood this part. We'll have the next session. Before the next session, I would like to tell you one thing. All of you, even after the next session completes, please stay online. Last 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you a very important thing, okay, which is very essential for you to know. A very important information I'm going to pass at the end of this, at the end of the next session, okay? Thank you all.
Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, all. How are you all? I hope all are fine. Is it? Okay, students. In the last session, we have discussed about the idea of development. Today, we are going to discuss about fifth lesson in geography: Indian rivers and water resources. Indian rivers and water resources. I hope all are ready. Can I see smile on your face? Okay, fine, good. Okay, students, let us discuss some important topic regarding our Indian rivers. Okay, so please look at the screen, all of you, and get ready with the running note and pen. Okay, all of you. Just 10 minutes, please stay online. Okay, then. Okay, this is our topic: Indian rivers and water resources. Is familiar for you, these two terms: Indian rivers and water resources. So we have many rivers in our country, and all the rivers reaches the sea or ocean. This common fact. You all know this process. River originates in the hilly region. It flows towards seas or ocean. Okay, fine. And water resources, rainwater. Okay, so rainwater is the main source of water resources of our country, not only our country, on the earth. So let us see here. Today our aim is to know about Indian rivers and water resources. Okay, the following topics we are going to discuss today. First is water resources. Next is India's drainage system, and next is Himalayan rivers. Next, peninsular rivers, and finally water use. Once again, water resources, India's drainage system, Himalayan rivers, peninsular rivers, and finally water use. These are the topics we are going to discuss today. And here you have some key words or the terms which is related to the topic. And first term is perennial. What do you mean by perennial? The river which flow throughout the year. Okay, the river which flow throughout the year is called perennial rivers, we call, without decreasing the water level in the river system. So that we call perennial river. And next is drainage. Drainage is nothing but the flow of water, we notice with that word, drainage system. Actually, Indian river system or the drainage system we say. And next is originate. What do you mean by originate? River originates in the Western Ghats. It means specified beginning. Okay, a specific spot which the river originate is called origin, is called originate. Next is tributary. Tributary, the meaning of tributary, small streams which connect to the streams or river which connect to the large rivers is called tributaries. Next is peninsula. Peninsula, nothing but the land which covered by three sides water is called a peninsula. Next is discharge, leave a place, especially water discharges we call. In this lesson, we'll discuss, we have water discharges or leave the place or move from one place to another. And next is exhibit, exhibition. You know what is exhibition? Display or publicly display, exact meaning exhibit. So these are all the terms which is related to the topic. First, once again, perennial, drainage, originate, tributary, peninsula, discharge, and exhibit. Okay, now look at the screen. Here you have your first topic is water resources. Let us know some important topics related to the water resources of our earth. So here some facts about water. You all know that 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. It means 71% of the land covered by water and 29% of the land. If you see the picture, you can understand. Only one side water and three sides, one side land and three side water. And here, out of 100% of water, 96.5% of the earth, that total volume of the world water. See here, 96.5% we have saline water we call. Nothing but oceans or sea. This water we can see oceans or sea. And 2.5% fresh water which is usable for human being and all the living being. And next 70% of the fresh water occurs as ice sheet in glaciers. Very, very amazing fact that is, because 70 ice glacier, you know what is glacier? Glacier nothing but a large ice blocks in the polar region. You can see, you already learned about polar region, North Pole and South Pole. In the large ice blocks, we can say that glaciers. And next is finally 29% as groundwater. 29% of groundwater. Okay, just look into that. And next here, India gets 4% of global precipitation. What is the meaning of precipitation? In the different forms, water receives in different forms, we call it precipitation, in the form of snow or rain, whatever it may be. These all come under precipitation. It is one of the process in water cycle, you know, evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Okay, so precipitate, it means receive from the in different forms. And land is 2.4 percentage of the world, the land area, and India hold 17 percentage of the world's population. Okay, India has second largest country, you all know that. Yes or no? Second largest country in the population. The same way 17% of the world population we can see in our country. These are the common facts which we have to know before we enter into our session. Okay, now here you have a picture regarding water cycle. Okay, it's not necessary to explain deeply, I think, because you know that the this water cycle, water, what we call evaporate, that evaporated water condense, and condensed water precipitate. Precipitation in the sense we receive water in different forms like snow, fog, rain. That process we call water cycle. If you see the screen, you can understand, see here, precipitation, precipitated water reaches to the hilly region, and hilly region to the low-lying land, and accumulation in the low-lying land. This is the process. Okay, the hill. And one more term, let me remind you now, almost all the rivers originate in the hilly region. Especially if you see all the major rivers in India, almost all the major rivers originate in the hilly region. We are coming to that point. So here, India's drainage system, I request you all to get ready with your running note, a paper. Okay, so now see, look at the screen. Here you have a India map. Okay, it's all familiar for you all. So before we discuss about Indian river system, let us know some of the physical features. In physical features, nothing but we have mainly plain, plateau, mountain ranges. And beginning, I have told you almost all the river system originate in the hilly region. So now look at the screen, all of you. Here you have Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats, two hilly region. Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat. The role of Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat you all know very well, I think. Otherwise, let us discuss now. See here, the Western Ghat starts from Gujarat to Tamil Nadu. And how many states it's covered? It's covered Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Once again, West is a chain of hills. Don't forget the term chain of hills. Western Ghats nothing but it's a chain of hills. There is no gap in between them. Okay, so it starts from Gujarat to Tamil Nadu. And one more term, let me remind you, this Western Ghats has slope towards east direction. Slope nothing but a flat area, a slope area, you know, slope, slippery slope, already familiar that terms. See, slope towards east direction. Listen carefully, Western Ghats has a slope towards east direction. Keep in your, remember that term. Okay, Western Ghats is a chain of hills. And when it comes to Eastern Ghat, it's an irregular hill, we can say, because it is like it's not chain of hills. And each and every hills in between that we have some gaps. It's not chain of hills. Irregular hills we call Eastern Ghats. When it comes to Western Ghats, it's a chain of hilly region. Is it clear for all? Now let us discuss about the river system. So dear students, we can divide the Indian river system in two categories. One is Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. Once again, Indian river system can be divided into two. One is Himalayan river system and peninsular river system. What are the two river system in our country? Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. So now let us know about what is peninsula. See here in the western side, look at the screen carefully, Gujarat. Next slide I will show you. Here we have Gujarat. And here we have up to here where West Bengal. Yes or no? West Bengal. And from here to here, if you draw a line, I will show you. Just a minute. Please look at the screen carefully. If we draw from here, see. Yes, I hope you can understand. Can you see the screen? Okay, fine. So this particular region, or from, see, this particular region we call peninsular region. Now you have a question, why do we call it a peninsular region? Because you all know that here this is Arabian Sea, here we have Indian Ocean and Bay of Bengal. The land which covered by three-side water is called peninsula. Did you get me? The land which covered by three-side, see here, three-side water. So now you just see here Sri Lanka. What is the status of Sri Lanka? Four sides covered by water. So we call this region is island. Very good, island. Four sides. It means north, south, east, west. Four sides covered by water. So we call this is an island and this is a peninsular region. And whatever the rivers originate in the peninsular region will come under peninsular rivers. Did you get me? The region, peninsular region, the rivers originate in the peninsular region is called peninsular rivers. Peninsular rivers. Okay, now let us see. See here in this. 1 second. This is peninsular region. Already you know this is peninsular region, and all the rivers which originates in the peninsular region is called the peninsular rivers. Now all of you get ready with a pen and paper. Quickly. Just to draw the bottom part of. Now let us discuss about the peninsular rivers. Very easy to understand. Once if you draw, you won't forget the rivers of peninsular region. Please get ready with a pen and paper. Okay, now let us start. See here. Already we have discussed the states which come under peninsula, like Western Ghat. Here Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Is it clear for all? Yes, fine, very good. So, and the states, how many states come under peninsular region? Let us start from here. Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Goa, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh. Can you see where are these places? Madhya Pradesh. Just to see next slide, you will get a clear idea. And Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. Okay, these all states, and here West Bengal also. So these all come under peninsular. We can say that this all peninsular state. Now let us the origin of the river. Dear students, first of all, let us know the major rivers of peninsular region. All of you listen carefully. Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi, Narmada, and Tapti. Once again, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi, Narmada, and Tapti. Is it clear for all? How many rivers come under peninsular region? Only we are discussing about the major rivers. Don't feel that we have only these rivers in the peninsular region. We have many other rivers. The river which flow maybe in through your village, we may call that Manjriyal River. Yes or no? Many different rivers are there pass through our region. So this all that all rivers we are not considering here. We are discussing only about the major rivers which flow through peninsula. First of all, Godavari. Here we have Godavari River, where it originates in Maharashtra. Where Godavari River. It originates in Maharashtra. Listen carefully. The Godavari River originates in Maharashtra and flow towards east direction and reaches to the Bay of Bengal. What is the status of Godavari River? It originates in Maharashtra. Where the Godavari River originates? Godavari River originates in Maharashtra. The place where its origin we call Triambakeshwar. Where is Godavari River originate? Triambakeshwar. Triambakeshwar. Okay, the place where this Godavari river originates is called Triambakeshwar, and after originates is flow towards east direction and reaches the Bay of Bengal. And now you have a question. The Godavari rivers pass through how many states? Here you can see Maharashtra, Telangana, and Andhra Pradesh. Did you get me? Only 3 states it cover. How many states? One is Maharashtra, Telangana, and Andhra Pradesh, and is in Bay of Bengal. Once again, Godavari river originates in Western Ghat. The place where it originates, I have told you, Triambakeshwar, and after originate is flow towards east direction, and it covered, it drained, we can say it drained Maharashtra, Telangana, and Andhra Pradesh, and reaches the Bay of Bengal. Draw and do it. I request you all to get a pen and paper, draw it and do it. Okay, so then easily you can understand where this Godavari river. And next coming to Krishna, the river Krishna. The Krishna river also originate in Western Ghat, river Krishna. River Krishna. That Krishna river also originate in Western Ghat, and Krishna river flow towards east direction. The river flow through Maharashtra, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, 4 states. Don't forget, the Krishna river covers 4 states or drain to 4 states. One is Maharashtra, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. Clear for all? Please draw and practice, students. Once if you do it, you never forget the Peninsular river system. Okay, and once again, Krishna river also originate in Western Ghat. Western Ghat, the place where the river originates is called Mahabaleshwar. Mahabaleshwar. Please note down, the place where the Krishna river originates is called Mahabaleshwar, and flow towards east direction. Why these rivers are flow towards east direction? I've told you clearly, Western Ghats has a slope towards east direction. So almost all the rivers flow towards east directions and end in Bay of Bengal. Clear for all? And next coming to Kaveri river. Kaveri river. Kaveri river originate in Karnataka. Where it originate? Kaveri. Kaveri. One second. Okay. Kaveri river originate in Karnataka, and the same this river also flow towards east direction and reaches the Bay of Bengal. Okay, and this river passed through 2 states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and reaches to the Bay of Bengal. And one more fact is that we have more dispute among these 2 states for water, the Kaveri water. Sometime you may observe in TV channels or newspaper dispute between like these 2 states. Okay, an argument on river water. Okay, so once again, Kaveri river originates in Western Ghat. The place where it originates we call Mahabaleshwar, and flow towards east direction and reaches the Bay of Bengal. And sorry, Kaveri river not in Mahabaleshwar. Krishna river originates in Mahabaleshwar. Kaveri river originates in Kotak or Coorg we call present time, Kotak. Okay, the place name where its origin. Okay, so Kaveri river originates in Kotak, Coorg, and flow towards east direction and reaches the Bay of Bengal. This is a 3 river system from Western Ghats. Okay, 3 river system from Western. Once again, first river is Godavari river, originates in Triambakeshwar and flow towards east direction. It covers or it drains 3 states, Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. When it comes to Krishna river originates in Western Ghat. It originate, the place where it originates, we call Triambakeshwar, flow towards east direction and reaches the Bay of Bengal. And one more thing, you no need any confusion between these two. Sometimes here Triambakeshwar you can see, here Mahabaleshwar you can see. You may have confusion. What you supposed to remember is Krishna river. Krishna is a god. Yes or no? Krishna is more powerful. In Telugu we call Krishna Mahabalavandhudu. If you remember, easily can remember. Am I right? Krishna is Mahabalavandhudu. It means Mahabaleshwar. So no need any confusion here. Triambakeshwar, Mahabaleshwar. And coming to Kaveri river. Kaveri river originates in Karnataka, flow towards east direction and reaches the Bay of Bengal. Is it clear for all? And one more river, Mahanadi. Mahanadi actually originate in, please look at the screen, Mahanadi. Mahanadi originates in Chhattisgarh. Where is originate? Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Bay of Bengal. Did you get me? Where it's originate? Chhattisgarh, Mahanadi. And that also reaches Bay of Bengal. Clear? This is all about Mahanadi. So, main 5 rivers already we have discussed: Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi. Please draw it and do it. Okay, easily. Once if you do, you never forget this. Is it clear for all? Okay. Godavari river, Krishna river, Kaveri river, Mahanadi. And 2 more rivers we have, Narmada and Tapti. So don't forget these two. These 2 rivers flow towards the west direction. Almost closer, these 2 rivers. And where is these 2 rivers? Actually, Amarkant Hills, Madhya Pradesh. Amarkant Hills in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, Amarkant Hill in Madhya Pradesh. And these rivers flow towards west direction and reaches Arabian Sea. Like 2 rivers, I have told you, Narmada and Tapti. Narmada and Tapti river. These 2 rivers flow towards west direction and reaches in Arabian Sea, and rest all rivers flow towards east direction and reaches in Bay of Bengal. And let me tell you the one more question you can expect from this: the length of Godavari river. Length of Godavari river. The length of Godavari 1465 kilometer. 14,065 kilometer. Krishna river 1400. Please deduct 1400. And here 803 is the Kaveri river. Okay, these are the 3 river, not Mahanadi. I just here you see the screen. Godavari river 1465 kilometer and Krishna river 1400 kilometer and Kaveri river 803. And one more term here, the Godavari river is the longest river in South India or Peninsula region. Godavari river is the longest river in Peninsula region. Don't forget, the longest river in Peninsula region is Godavari river, and oldest river also we call it this Godavari. Actually, Godavari river is older than Ganga river. Okay, so oldest river we call Godavari river. Only in South India, don't forget, in South India, the longest river in South India is Godavari river. The longest river in India, Ganga river. Okay, the longest river in India is Ganga river. The longest river in South India is Godavari river. The length of Ganga river is 2525 Ganga river. We will discuss about that rivers now. This all about peninsular rivers or peninsular region, and the river whatever originate in the peninsular region we call peninsular river. The major rivers, first is Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi, Narmada and Tapti. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are all together 6 rivers we have. I hope everyone understood. Perfect in that. No doubt on this part, I think. Is it clear? Okay, fine. Now let us discuss about Himalayan rivers. Okay, the total river system divided into 2. One is Peninsular river and Himalayan rivers. Dear students, total we have the major 3 Himalayan rivers are Indus, Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra. Okay, the three major rivers in North India, we can say. Okay, these three rivers we call Himalayan rivers. Don't confuse here. First we have discussed about peninsular rivers, and now we are going to discuss about Himalayan rivers. This is a major drainage system in India, or the river system in India. Indus River. Actually, Indus River originates in Tibet. Tibet in China. Okay, Tibet. And Indus River originate and flow towards west direction. Flow towards west directions and reaches the Arabian Sea. See here, Indus River originates in Tibet near Manasa Sarovar. Okay, and it flows towards west direction and reaches in Arabian Sea. Okay, so in the content book you have many tributaries of Indus River: Chellam, Chenab, Ravi, Bias, Satluj. Okay, many tributaries. That all, like coming slides will give you that information. The major tributaries of Indus River. Okay, it's originate in Tibet, China, and it's closer to Manasa Sarovar lake, and it reaches to the Arabian Sea. And one more term, let me introduce you here. All the Himalayan rivers are perennial rivers. Don't forget the term, perennial rivers. The beginning I have told you what is the meaning of perennial rivers. Perennial rivers, nothing but the river which flow throughout the year is called a perennial rivers, because you know these Himalayan rivers all originates in the Himalayan mountain ranges. These all like ice, full of ice, you know. Okay, molten ice reaches to the low-lying area. Molten ice, that water reaches to the low-lying area and flow towards east and west direction. So this river system we call perennial rivers. When it comes to peninsular rivers, this is non-perennial rivers. Okay, peninsular rivers we call non-perennial rivers. Throughout the year it flow, but water level decreases in the river. Listen carefully. In peninsular rivers, water level decreases. When it comes to Himalayan rivers, it flow throughout the year. So we call this river system is perennial rivers. Okay, so the same way Indus River originates in Tibet and flow towards west direction and reaches in Arabian Sea. And next coming to Brahmaputra River. Brahmaputra River. So Brahmaputra River also originates in Tibet and flow towards east direction and enter into India and flow towards Bay of Bengal. Draw and practice, all of you. Once again, you never forget this. First, the second is Brahmaputra River originates in Tibet and flow towards east direction and reaches in Bay of Bengal. And now coming to Ganga River. Ganga has actually two tributaries, or the origin we can say because one is Bhagirathi and Alakananda, two river system. Okay, we have like in Ganga River we have two river system, Bhagirathi and Alakananda. Bhagirathi and Alakananda, the place where these two river system join, that particular place we call Devaprayag. Devaprayag. Okay, this is the emergence of Ganga River, we can say, emergence of formation. From here we call this is Ganga River and flow towards east direction and reaches to the Bay of Bengal. Don't forget, two arms we can say, one is Alakananda and the second is Bhagirathi. Alakananda and Bhagirathi, two river system forms and it merge in the Devaprayag. From here we call this is a Ganga River. Okay, up to here this is two river system. One is Alakananda and next is Bhagirathi. And it reaches the Bay of Bengal. This is the major Himalayan rivers or major Himalayan river system. I hope everyone understood. Is it clear for all? Peninsula River and Himalayan. In the Himalayan region, we have Himalayan rivers, 3 major Himalayan rivers, Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra, and the same way Peninsula rivers, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi, Narmada, and Tapti. Narmada and Tapti, 2 rivers, flow towards west direction and reaches Arabian Sea, and all other peninsula rivers flow towards east direction because this Western Ghat has a slope towards east direction. All the rivers flow towards east directions and reaches the Bay of Bengal. Okay, students, did you understand the river system? Please thumbs up. Totally confused, am I right? Sir, totally confused because all the river system. I hope everyone like, where is your note? Just to show me. Did you draw and mark all this river system? Yes. Did you draw? Okay, good. I think everyone did the work. Okay, now you have the detailed information regarding this all river system. So please 1 second stay online. Okay, please look at the screen now. Now, here we have all detailed explanation about Indian drainage system. So if you see the screen, you can understand what is a drainage. A definition you have on the screen. The drainage, nothing but drainage describes the river system in an area. And the same way, what is drainage basin? The area drained by a single river system is called a drained, nothing but providing water. Okay, providing water to this region, we can say. So that particular place we call drainage basin. And the same way, here you have the same topic. There are 2 types of rivers in our country: Himalayan rivers and Peninsula rivers. Okay, please take the screenshot of the notes which you have on the screen. First is Himalayan rivers. The Himalayan rivers we can divide it into 3. Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. Okay, so lack of time, I'm going to end up the session now. So please stay online. Don't go anywhere. Okay, the detailed notes I will give you to. I hope everyone understood the river system. Okay, did you understand the river system? Then I am happy. Please thumbs up if you understand the all river system of our country. How many of you? Show me your drawing once. Let me see whether it is almost same as India map or. Can you show me? Okay, good. You did a good job. Okay, fine. Just what you're supposed to do is go through the topic after the class. If possible, you try to draw and mark all the river system on a piece of paper. Okay? Okay, students, and please stay online. You have some more information regarding your class.
Good evening, dear students. Now I am going to put a link in the chat box. You are requested to copy the link to your Google and give your feedback about number of holidays you require. We have lost many working days due to pandemic COVID-19. So as it is Dasara season, we are planning to give you some holidays based on students' feedback. Okay. The feedback link will be pasted in your chat box now. If you open it there, it won't work. You'll have to copy it to Google or any other search engine. And after I end the session, you fill the feedback and submit. We all are eagerly waiting to hear from you, because there is also another section of feedback based on each subject teaching. Okay, so please give your feedback genuinely. Okay, if at all anything is there, we can improve it, or if things are good, we'll be expecting your encouragement with your feedback. Now I have sent the link in the chat box. Please all of you look and copy it to the search engine, Google or any other. Please mention genuinely the number of holidays you require. Copy paste your Google and do the feedback filling after I end the session. You have time, no hurry, because simultaneously you'll be getting trouble. Okay, if you have done, I will end the meeting. Once again, I'm pasting it. Have you all got? Is anyone facing trouble in getting the link? Please let me know. Anyway, I appreciate all of you for choosing online classes. There are still students who are not at all observing or learning from online or offline. And wasting their time. Okay, please give your feedback after this.